Right now, a woman is recovering in the hospital after Madison police used drones and dogs to locate her.
And we hear from residents on Madison's west side who heard the gunshots during an officer-involved shooting last night.
Plus, there's a push at the city and state level to make sure people are filling out their census form. What you should know, that's new for 2020.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
And thanks for joining us. And first tonight, prepare for snow.
Rain is expected to make the switch overnight into tomorrow morning. Meteorologist Chris Reese has all the details to help us prepare. Chris?
Yeah, we're watching things right now across parts of the upper Midwest as the first bands of snow begin to develop. In the meantime, we've got cloud cover here over Wisconsin. Temperatures, though, are warm. We're at 42 degrees. So if it were to start snowing right now, it would certainly be mixed with rain. And it really would not have an impact on the roads. But some of the colder air is just back towards the north and west. 30 showing up in parts of Iowa and the viewing area. Wisconsin Dells at 38 right now. We do have winter weather advisories, though, for just about everyone except for two of our southeastern counties. It's going to be Jefferson and Rock County, not in the winter weather advisory. I still do think those folks will see snow there. But here's Weather Track. You see those bands already starting to develop just back towards the south and west. All of that will be spreading over the area during the overnight hours. And we will have an alert day for tomorrow morning just because the commute could be impacted on some of those less traveled roadways along with bridges and overpasses. We also have an alert day for Thursday. We're watching a system. Right now we have a forecast for rain and snow out of that, but it's trending colder with more of a snow event that could impact our trick-or-treating. I'll break that down coming up in Maine weather.
All right, Chris, thanks. And for your commute to work or dropping the kids off at school tomorrow, tune into News 3 Now this morning. We welcome back Leah with Josh and Hattie as well for the latest details on snow accumulations, road conditions, everything you need to know before you head out the door. Watch between 4:30 and 7 o'clock tomorrow. A woman was found alive in West Madison after being missing for more than 24 hours.
Officials say 67-year-old Amy Ruppnow was reported missing after a walk yesterday afternoon. Gabriella Becerra is live from Midtown Road near the woods where Ruppnow was found. Gabby?
Amy Ruppnow was found just about 200 yards from here and about 50 yards into the trees. Police say she was found only about 200 yards from where she first was originally reported missing, but because of disorientation was likely wandering around. The search began yesterday. Officials used horses, dogs, and drones to locate this woman, but police say it was boots on the ground that made this search a success.
I'm not a doctor, but I think if she would have spent another night out here, it wouldn't have been the same. It probably was mid-upper 30s last night. So this is definitely a success.
Ruppnow was taken to the ambulance by an ATV where she was returned with loved ones. Officials say Ruppnow was found conscious, alert, and doing okay, but she was taken to the hospital just to have a quick evaluation.
Right now, the Division of Criminal Investigation is investigating a fatal officer-involved shooting. Now, this happened on Madison's west side last night.
Police Chief Vic Wall says a 63-year-old man was shooting at officers. This was along Raymond Road, a couple blocks east of the Quick Trip. Officers shot the man. He later died in the hospital. Jamie Perez spoke to several neighbors who were at the scene last night. Jamie joins us now. Jamie?
Well, a lot of people that I spoke with said they woke up last night to the sound of gunshots, people screaming, and even people running out of this building. And some neighbors that I spoke with today said that shooting last night, they believe, may have been the result of ongoing mental health issues being unaddressed.
As far as like crimes on this actual block, nothing like this.
Monica Howard lives 2 buildings down from where the officer-involved shooting happened last night. She said as police were surrounding this building, she spoke with a man who lives here and says he knew the man who was shooting at police.
And he said that he lives in that building, and he said that he's seen him several times and that he had a lot of like suicidal thoughts and mental health issues. And so it wasn't a surprise to him that this happened.
But for other neighbors, driving up to this scene last night was surprising. At least it was for Yvette Gardner.
6 police officers was sitting in the back. This whole area was blocked.
And it was the round of gunshots that woke up Val Kruger, who lives just across the street.
Like, I saw the guy with a gun in his hand running up the street.
She said her and her roommate called the cops immediately and stayed in their apartment as shots were fired.
Like I said, I was laying there, I heard bam, 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 bam.
As officers flooded the area, Howard said she was doing what she could to protect her daughter.
My daughter, when she heard the shot, she immediately dropped. Like, I've put her through protocol. If there's a shooting, like, you got to stay away from windows, doors. You want to make sure that you're in a secured area. My daughter's 11 years old. I've been having to teach her this since I lived here.
She said teaching these things to her daughter is something she wishes she didn't have to do. But after hearing that this may have been the result of ongoing mental health issues.
I did talk to the officers across the street this morning, and the gentleman did have mental health issues. And this might have been able to be prevented if our community in Dane County had even more support for mental health.
While we still don't know exactly what the man involved here was dealing with mentally, Howard says it's things like this that happen so close to home that make her and other parents wary of what could happen next.
My advice would be we take it block by block, group by group, to address the issues so that hopefully we can minimize things like this happening, because this isn't the first time this has happened in Madison.
Howard told me that people in this apartment complex are generally pretty good about checking up on their neighbors when they suspect mental health issues, but said that we could all do a little bit better in checking on our neighbors to prevent something like this from happening in the future.
Jamie Perez live along Raymond Road. Jamie, thank you.
Former House Speaker and Janesville native Paul Ryan has launched a nonprofit organization aimed at fighting poverty. Even though Ryan moved his family to Maryland earlier this year, the American Idea Foundation will be based in Janesville. Ryan has moved more than $7 million from his congressional account into the nonprofit. Looking ahead, Wisconsin Supreme Court candidates will take to the debate stage in November. Supreme Court Justice Dan Kelly, Dane County Judge Jill Karofsky, and Marquette University law professor Ed Falone are slated to debate on November 19th. It'll take place at the Foley and Lardner law firm's Madison's office. The primary election is in February, and the top two vote getters advance to the general election in April.
It takes just 10 minutes, and it only happens once a decade.
A new push tonight aims to educate you about the importance of filling out your 2020 census forms in March. Rose Schmidt is here with what you need to know. Rose?
So in mid-March, you or someone in your household will get a letter from the Census Bureau. New for 2020, you'll first be asked to fill it out online. If you don't, you may get a visit at your door in May from a census worker. Ben Zellers from the City of Madison is working with local schools, neighborhoods, and nonprofits to educate about the importance of filling out these forms. Census data helps draw maps so you can get represented properly at city, state, and even federal levels. The data also helps decide how $675 billion in federal funds will be divided.
If we don't have a complete and accurate count within the city, that means that for the next 10 years, we'd be missing out on our fair share of federal funding for things like transit, roads, affordable housing, healthcare, nutrition, all those different types of federal programs that depend on census information.
Governor Tony Evers created a committee today that aims to get more people to participate in the census. That committee will develop strategies on reaching hard-to-count communities like children, immigrants, people of color, and people who are low income. You will also be able to fill out that census by mail, phone, or smartphone. The city is putting together a list of places you can go to fill it out if you don't have a computer at home. And remember, all of that data is kept confidential for 72 years.
Rose, thank you.
More local news now. Today, crews will start installing the annual Holiday Lights Show at Olin Park. Electricians from IBEW Local 159 will work through next Thursday to make the attraction come to life. The Holiday Fantasy and Lights display brightens up the edge of Lake Monona November 9th through the 4th of January. It is free, but your donations keep the attraction going. Two new businesses are coming to Hilldale Mall in the coming months. Wildwood is a Madison-based boutique plant shop that'll open in early November. It'll be across from Forage Kitchen. The Hilldale location will serve as a pop-up location for the holidays. In early January, Burn Boot Camp will open next to Solid Core, a women's-only fitness hotspot.
Dane County Farmers Market officials announced today the late winter market will be moving to the Garver Feed Mill. For the last 16 years, the winter market has been at the Madison Senior Center, but after an increase in vendors and attendance, the market is moving to a bigger venue. The summer market will continue as planned until November 16th, followed by the holiday market, which will be at the Monona Terrace. People can expect 30 to 40 vendors selling cheese, honey, meats, and more at this winter market.
We were really attracted to the mission and the vision behind the Garver Feed Mill and the fact that there are other artisan food companies here.
The market will start at the feed mill on January 4th, 2020 and run until April 4th when the market will move out to the Capitol Square once again.
Next at 6, a local hospital's new protocol has dramatically reduced the number of opioid prescriptions to new moms who deliver via C-section. We'll hear how that change has improved one mom's bonding experience.
And we're preparing for the first snowfall of the season. Tonight on News 3 Now at 10, we're checking in with local bus companies to see how they're preparing to get your kids to school safely. Moms who deliver via C-section are being sent home from St. Mary's Hospital with just Tylenol and ibuprofen after years of being prescribed opioids.
The hospital has a new protocol that has decreased narcotics use in the postpartum unit by 76% in the last 3 years. Our Amanda Quintana has the story.
This is William August Frederick, born on Friday. He's number 4.
William was brought into the world via C-section, the 4th for mom Shelley. She's been up, walking, both of them ready to go home with just Tylenol and ibuprofen. A very different experience from her first C-section.
So after my C-section with my oldest, I was on morphine. So I don't remember seeing him for at least a day and a half after he was born.
The drug preventing her from holding or feeding her firstborn during a crucial bonding time, especially for new moms. This time she's getting with William she missed with her first.
Because even now he's 12, but I still feel like I don't have as close a relationship as I could have with him.
She wasn't herself for a long time. Same postpartum depression and that lack of bonding she relates back to the opioids. She and other post-C-section moms not spared by the epidemic.
Years ago, we just prescribed everybody. We had a standard number. Everybody went home with this many.
Emil Holmes-Drame was tired of sending moms home with the standard 40 Vicodin or Percocet. With it, nausea, constipation, risk of spreading through breast milk, and possibly setting them or someone in their home up for addiction.
Now when we go to our patients and say, hey, you haven't taken any narcotics while you were here, maybe 1 dose in 4 days, do you want some at discharge? And most of the moms are like, no.
This dropped narcotics use by 76% in just 3 years. Now not prescribing Vicodin or Percocet at all.
This is just something that we at St. Mary's in Madison decided to try, and it worked.
Most moms going home like Shelley, who now knows better, wishing she would have had that conversation with her doctor 12 years ago. Amanda Quintana, News 3 Now.
Now, if a patient asks for pain meds, they get a max of 5 tablets, not the 40 that were being prescribed before, but about 75% of moms aren't asking for it. Across Wisconsin, public support for medical marijuana is high. By the beginning of next year, 3 surrounding states will have legalized the drug in some form.
So we wanted to know, what would it take to get marijuana legalized in the Badger State? News 3 Now's Rose Schmidt sat down for a one-on-one interview with Republican Assembly Speaker Robin Vos. Vos is open to legalizing marijuana for medical use in Wisconsin, but in a very limited way. We asked him what his conditions are, who would be able to have access to the drug, and what obstacles still stand in his way for passing medical marijuana legislation in our state. He shared his plans exclusively with News 3 Now.
I want to have, in the end, the ability for us to get a bill passed and signed by a governor into law that allows that limited version of medical marijuana. So I hope that people who want medical marijuana respect the fact that we are trying, that it's not an easy task, and that we're going to do our very best.
We also spoke with a Dane County mom who says medical marijuana could make the world of difference for her 10-year-old son. You can hear from the family and Speaker Vos tonight on News 3 Now at 10.
Later in sports, coming off the win against Kansas City, Packers head coach Matt LaFleur setting records for a first-year coach.
And prepare for snow. We could see an inch or two of accumulation by tomorrow morning and a wintry mix for trick-or-treaters. Chris will have all the details coming up next in your First Alert forecast. Meteorologist Chris Reese joins us now, and that tie, my friend.
He loves it. He loves the snow.
I know you do. You are so excited. You want to be a snow angel for Halloween.
Yes, I'm planning my outfit now. Snow angels for Halloween. That's just because I may have some fresh snow to play in on Halloween. But I think we want to start with what we have out there for tonight. You always want to take these one system at a time, especially snowfall forecasts. Those get very tricky. But nonetheless, we do have winter weather advisories. These go from the UP of Michigan all the way back towards the south and west. That's going to go from tonight at 10 o'clock until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And I don't think the impacts are going to be huge or major, but some of those less traveled or untreated roads could see some issues. news. Here's what we're watching right now. The first flakes of snow starting to fly throughout northern parts of the state. We zoom things out, look back towards the south and west. This is where we're seeing more and more of those flakes really starting to gather. You go towards Omaha, parts of southwestern Iowa. That is where the snowflakes are certainly reaching the ground. In the meantime, we are cloudy. Temperatures are right at 42 degrees. Now that the sun has set, we're going to start to watch those temperatures gradually drop into the low or upper and mid 30s in time. It's going to be a little slow with that cloud cover out there, but nonetheless, check out those temperatures back towards the north and west. This is as a cold front gradually moves towards the south and east. This is allowing more and more of that cooler air to really kind of press on into town. In the meantime, our snowmakers, this area of low pressure that's now coming east of the Rockies, and it has plenty of cold air to work with. That's why I now think this is going to be all snow. Instead of rain changing over to snow tonight, I do think everyone sees snowflakes coming on down. In fact, here's that system. This is midnight. This is about when I think we'll start to see the first flakes of snow begin to fall, and then things will dry out by tomorrow afternoon with some sunshine. So any snow that does accumulate, it won't last long. Once we get past that one, attention does turn back towards the south and west. Here we are Wednesday morning. That next system will likely begin to come our way. Let's focus on the first system for now. Here's when that snow begins to arrive. This is 10:30 tonight. Temperatures in the upper 30s. We'll likely see that heaviest snow sometime between about midnight and 3 o'clock in the morning. By the time we get you towards tomorrow rush hour, it's going to be out of here. Kids, if you wanted a snow day, I mean, it's literally just an inch or two. Let's calm down with this one. But things will be drying out. We'll see those temperatures warming up from the 20s and into the upper 30s with some sunshine for tomorrow afternoon. And then we'll gradually start to see those temperatures fall back again. But again, seriously, just about an inch or two of snow, mainly on grassy and elevated surfaces. Not a big deal, but nonetheless, the first system of the year. Then we look forward. Let's get you towards Halloween. This is actually Wednesday night at 11 o'clock, perhaps when the first round of snow could begin to work its way on in here. Here we are at 8 o'clock. This is the morning commute on Halloween, then the evening commute on Halloween. Both of those look to be in periods of snowfall. If you're going to be trick-or-treating, plan something that matches well with the white, or stands out, if you will. By the time we get you towards the wee hours of Friday morning, that's when that snowmaker does look to be moving on out of town. But dry weather does follow both of these systems. We'll see temperatures in the 40s for highs, 20s and 30s for lows as we go through the rest of that 10-day forecast.
Well, we're about halfway through the regular season, and the Packers are 7-1. So how does head coach Matt LaFleur feel about his team right now? That story next in sports. Well, is it possible that at age 35, this guy over here just keeps getting better? Well, honestly, this entire Packers offense turning out to be scary good. So good that even what appear to be throwaway passes like this one to Jamal Williams in the second half of the game turned out to be a touchdown. Green Bay beat Kansas City 31-24 to improve to 7-1 about halfway through the regular season. The best record for a first-year head coach for Green Bay. And while Matt LaFleur is thriving, he credits the character guys on his team for the success.
Yeah, I don't sit back and think about it too much. It's just on to the next game, and just because I know how hard it is to win each and every week, and if you don't put all your energy into that, you're not going to be as successful. And luckily for myself and our staff, we've come into a pretty good situation where we've got a lot of good players, and we not only good football players but good people.
Meanwhile, to the Badgers, how are these guys going to rally again? And Jonathan Taylor posed that question after Saturday's loss to Ohio State because that resurgence didn't really happen after the loss to Illinois. But the season is far from over, according to head coach Paul Chryst. He said that he has a lot of confidence in this group and that they will rally. And honestly, they're going to have to win the last 4 games of the season in order to have any shot at an appearance at the Big Ten Championship. And the road to that starts with the month of November.
It's 4 Big Ten West opponents, all 4 really big games. Obviously, you got to be in each week, just in that moment. But it's a great opportunity for us to finish, and I like this group a ton. I still do, right? And no one said it would be easy. It never is. But we'll come out of this thing, and there's a lot of substance in that locker room, and that's a group that I look forward to having a good, productive bye week, and then getting a chance to attack November.
The women's soccer team fresh off of winning the Big Ten regular season outright after the team beat Northwestern in Evanston yesterday. It's the first time since 1996 that the Badgers have accomplished that feat, and Wisconsin will play one more in the regular season this Wednesday at home, hosting Ohio State. That game was one that was rescheduled from September before the Big Ten tournament starts on Sunday. So how did Paula Wilkins celebrate yesterday?
I watched the video. I celebrated with my kids, but they didn't seem to care. They're 2-year-old twins, and they actually ran away from me, so they were more interested in the scarf than me. Anson Dorrance is one of my favorite coaches, and he said, you know, when you win a championship, it's almost like the loneliest time for a coach because the players are celebrating with each other, and you kind of just take a deep breath. I think at one point I was sitting on the curb just by myself, and I do that because I get to watch them celebrate.
And the Big Ten quarterfinals, they will be a host. They are the #1 seed as well, so they'll be this weekend.
Great season. All right, Chris.
Yeah, we're going to watch that snow chance tonight. Temperatures are going to fall into the upper 20s. We're looking at 1 to 2 inches on elevated surfaces tomorrow morning.
Thanks for joining us at 6.
Enjoy your evening. We'll see you back here at 10.